Hi everyone, so today we're going to be talking about the Stabilo 68 brush pens. So what are they? They are a premium fiber tip pen with a flexible brush tip and water-soluble ink. These are made for all creative pen and pencil lovers who have fun using lots of colors and doing special coloring effects. The brush pen has a flexible brush tip, which allows for thick lines and thin lines depending on the pressure. So one thing that I did not notice until I opened the package is that it came with 5 duplicates. Now on the packaging on the front, I will give them that. It does say it comes with 5 of your favorite duplicates, which they are lovely colors that are duplicates. However, I think that that's slightly deceiving, and I would have rather had 5 other colors on top of that instead of 5 duplicates. So as I always say, the best paper to use with any pens is a smooth paper. One of my favorites is the Canson XL marker paper. It's a super smooth paper and it's not going to damage the nibs of your pen. So yes, the texture of the paper can damage your nibs, so you have to be extremely careful with that. So the upstrokes and the downstrokes. You can get a good variation between the thin upstrokes and the thick downstrokes. I don't really talk about medium brush pens much because there's not a whole lot that I would put in the category of medium brush pens, but I actually would put these in the category of a medium brush pen. They have a really nice downstroke, but it's not too large. So it's not super thick like you can make the Tombos have a super thick downstroke. And the thing that I love about the upstrokes is that it's almost like you are writing with a Crayola marker. The nib is very stiff when you're making the upstrokes, which makes it a lot easier to create the thin upstrokes, and you don't have to have as much control. So next let's talk about the blendability. These seem to blend really well, and now you'll notice that I am using Canson XL watercolor paper, and this does have a bit of a tooth to it, but you do have to use caution when using these kinds of markers on watercolor paper because it can eventually ruin your nib, so just beware of that. And these do blend very well. They are super vibrant, which I love. So they stay moist and you can easily blend one color into the other color. So as far as what sets they come in actually a ton of different sets. There's only certain ones that you can find on Amazon, but if you look at the Stabilo website, they have anything from a 6 to an 8 to a 10 to a 12 to a 15 to a 24 and a 25 pack. And they sell them in regular packaging like the one that you saw, or a metal tin. So just make sure you look when you're checking out at what kind of packaging that you would be receiving them in. So my overall opinion of these is that I think they're actually a super great brush pen, and I think they are perfect for beginners because of the control that you can have with the thin upstrokes and the thick downstrokes. You don't have to worry about getting too sloppy because sometimes with a large brush pen, it's difficult to transition between the thin upstroke and the thick downstroke. So with these, it's that perfect amount where the nib is stiff enough to help you create that thin upstroke. And I cannot say that with a lot of pens that they actually help you to create thin lines, but I can say that these ones definitely do. So they give you a lot of feedback when you are making the upstrokes, which will make your life so much easier, especially if you are a beginner. Or you don't even have to be a beginner. I just love trying out different brush pens, and these ones are different from any of the other ones that I have. So I think that's awesome. So one thing that I love about them that you might not think about is the shape. So they actually have straight edges on. It's not like a rounded pen like a typical pen would be. It has straight edges around it, so it allows it to sit flat without rolling all over. Now that might sound like a really minor thing, but when you are trying to take pictures of your artwork with a pen, it can be so frustrating when your pen is rolling all over the place. And here's a little tip. If you do have a rounded pen, you can just place a little rolled up piece of Scotch tape on the bottom to keep your pen in place, but that can take a lot longer to set up, and sometimes I'm not very patient. So the design of these pens I think is awesome because they just sit there. They don't roll all over the place when you're trying to do something. So I think that's a positive. Okay, so let's talk about the negatives. One thing is that they are a bit pricier. I think that they're difficult to find in the US unless you can find them on Amazon. So that makes them more pricey. I think I paid about $40 for a 24 pack. And actually they were a gift to me from my sister. So she paid $40 for a 24 pack. And then another thing that I mentioned before was that it came with 5 duplicates. So I'm not quite sure if all of them do, but just make sure if you do purchase them to check first to see if it says anything about that, because I think they should mention that. I feel like that's something important that they should mention in the description. So all in all, this is a pen that I will use on a regular basis. I think it comes in a variety of colors, and I think that it's a very well-made pen. So although it is a little bit pricier, I think it's worth it, especially if you're a beginner. It's okay to invest in a good pen that is going to assist you in your lettering. And by assist you, I just mean that will make it easier for you to learn how to do calligraphy, because there are some pens out there that are difficult to use, and it actually makes it more difficult to learn because you have to have a steadier hand, and they aren't as forgiving as, let's say, these Stabilo 68 brush pens. So I would highly recommend them to anybody who is a beginner or anybody who just likes to try new brush pens. And then I'm just going to show you the colors that came as duplicates for me. So they are really lovely colors, but like I said before, I just would have preferred to have 5 different colors, but these are beautiful colors that they chose.